Hello, everyone. My name is Barb, and this is Mystic Door Tarot. This video is about understanding smoke card readings. So let's get right into it. First off, a smoke card reading is similar to tea leaf readings, coffee cup readings, or gemstone readings. It is the tool that is used when you connect with the divine or source energy and your spirit guides for visions and messages coming through. It's done in a meditative state, and the sketching is somewhat erratic. This is basically done by candlelight as well. It's best to pair up this reading with a tarot card reading since one reading can tie into each other. I just started on this channel doing these as general readings, and I wasn't sure what would come out in the readings. And we've had a few interesting things pop out. So, how did this come about? It was passed down to me by a very special family member that I was close to spiritually. I had saved a few of my own readings that were done a long time ago, and when I came across them again, I was given a sign to perform them again. So this is an original, and her energy is with me when I perform these readings. I have empathic and claircognizant abilities, which is why things just pop out and I just know. There's no explanation for it, you just know it. I have performed some smoke card readings for some of my viewers, and they've shared some comments on the previous Wednesday videos. I always do the smoke card readings on Wednesday. Now, doing a general reading of this nature is really difficult. I'm not even separating it by zodiac signs. This is going out to everyone. But my guides usually know that some of the people that were meant to see the video will indeed get drawn to watch it. Readings usually ties directly into the energy of the person that I'm performing it for. It's very personal, and some surprising things show up at times. So now I'll just run through some past smoke cards and give some explanations. So let me grab these. And this one here was done for a young lady who was, she lost what it ended up being her first love. You know, your first love, that's the hardest one you fall from. And let me see if I can put this down and maybe, oop, I'm going to put it, there we go. And I want to use my wand. Anyway, this is like a collapsed heart. That was the first thing that came through, and you know, the love was just, you know, it just ended. And um, these glasses, which usually turn up to be rose-colored glasses, where everybody looks through them and they pretend to see what they want to see. And she was not giving up on the relationship, so she kept thinking that, you know, she would get this person back, and that wasn't going to happen. And she had many different paths that I could see that she would be able to go on. But this is all about free will. So no matter what, any tarot card reading or any reading, you can change it in the blink of an eye just by your free will. And you choose left instead of right. So, but the letter K here, let me turn that around. The letter K, I don't know if that was supposed to be the name of the person because it showed someone was going to come in. I saw this tiny heart here. I'm going to keep twisting these around. So this tiny heart here showed that there was new love coming in, but she wasn't really interested. This was her on her path. She was going to have a few bumps, but she was going to find that true love. And the sketching is erratic because normally if I do one in person for somebody, I just tell them what I see. As in when you see tea leaf readings done, they're just looking into the cup and just telling you. So I try to sketch something so you can tell a little bit more of what I'm seeing, or at least the area on the card. And this right here, and yes, excuse the drawing, was her knight in shining armor. That's who was coming through. So um, that was just one card. I have several, so I'll just kind of run through them. This was interesting. This was, let's see, this was done in March. And we had just recently got on a community on one of those private communities on Facebook. It was a particular group. And I saw this big C and the F, and I met someone very special. Her first name is Catherine, and met her on Facebook in that community. So, and she's just very special and dear to me. And I've done many readings and smoke card readings for her, and it's just, she's doing so fantastic. This was an odd thing here. Just some of the odd things that come out. Had to go for a blood test, so that was showing the arm and the blood sample. Just weird, odd things that turn up. This one was in one of our readings, and here you can see it was a butterfly, but the wing was broken. And when I originally looked at this, I could just really, it was just really sad. I was just overcome by sadness. And it's got to do with somebody whose name begins with a V is holding this person back from being able to fly and spread their wings and become, what they want to do in their life. So, but I remember in that reading, I had also said that it can be repaired. And in that same reading, we had where I know it was tied into the reading of that particular Wednesday because it was about going different paths, but it was drawing us to this giant 3, which was new beginnings, from what I remember. And it was about blowing off steam, and it showed that somebody was going to be playing baseball. Now, some of the readings will be just an entire card, will be just what's coming through. And this was a quick card I did for my friend Catherine. And I asked her, this came through, my guides told me, do this smoke card reading for her. And this is the message that came through. And this was like an epiphany kind of day for her. I asked her if she had a windmill or something, and she had a wind turbine in her yard, and she went out there and the wind really kicked up, and she just got so energized, and she ended up really going after and starting her own business, and it is just doing tremendous, and I'm just so pleased and excited for her. And it all started on this particular day. So the smallest little sign or little something, don't ignore it. That's in some of the readings that we do, that we mention about pay attention to the signs. This was one of the early ones I did on YouTube here just a few weeks ago. This was tied in with the 6 of Swords energy. So this was a sailboat here, and sailing to easier times. And it showed different people around here that it was referring to, and a butterfly over here as well. And I think somebody with the name of M, if I remember correctly. Now, sometimes there'll be just that one message, like the windmill. And this one I got one day. My guides will tell me just out of the blue, do a smoke card reading, and it'll be sending me a particular message. And I got 96. And 96 was telling me about spiritual development. It was about karma, inner wisdom, balance, gratitude. It was giving back to humanity. And all of that led to me starting a YouTube channel and doing what I had been doing for years and years and years, helping people develop, and it was just done in a very natural way for me just to help people. So now I can use smoke cards and tarot cards to really help people and point them in the right direction. So that was my wake up call. And that came about during an online class I was doing with a wonderful woman. And I'm not going to say her name because I didn't ask her if I could mention it, but wonderful, wonderful woman, and very spiritual, and just woke everything up. So it's always nice to have that kind of support. And this one here is about staying on path. And this M here was actually the place of employment for this person. And everything was like all okay on this side. But on this side of the path, there was somebody that seems to always want to take her off the path. And in my readings, if I come across, and this was a big one, birds with beaks, that's somebody gossiping, talking about you, and it's usually not in a good way. Sometimes it can be in a good way, but in this case it wasn't, and not a nice person here, and so was able to warn this person about that and stay on her original path. This one was interesting. If you can see the mask there, this was one of my own that I was told, and it was just a mask, and it ended up to be, you know how you have the homeowners associations? Well, they were looking at something, and I think it's when we had some pretty cold weather come through, and it killed one of the bushes. And so I was like, what is this? And this came to me, and it ended up being the homeowners association saying, pay attention and fix that in your front yard. They were looking at us. So it was just really funny how things come through like that. And this was one of the recent ones in the, let me move this up a bit here. In the Wednesday readings, where we had somebody that was popping the question, and it was possibly someone named Kevin. That's what I saw. And we had a young lady by the name of Kim that was going to be involved. This was like the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the pink ribbon, and she was going to get affiliated with that. That was the day that we had the tremendous page energy with the fantastic news coming in, and I saw this giant Y, and Yesenia and Yvette came through. Certain names can come through. And I also saw a small letter D, David, that something to do with his work. He would go on a trip. He would be on an airplane. So I can keep going on and on and on. I'll just do a few more. This was a fun, interesting one. This was full of drama. This was recently. Maria here I saw, and the rose-colored glasses again, and everything was, the relationship was just spiraling down, and she needed to go, but kept thinking everything was okay. And this was a love triangle. This is where there was 3 people involved, and 2 of the people didn't know the other person existed. So that wasn't going to end well either. This was a workplace situation. I saw the A for Allie or Allison. And this was a very volatile boss. And so I had talked about that then. And somebody at her work that was very supportive with her. And this one was fun. The giant letter M here stood for Marco, like Marco Polo. And it was all about a puppy. Someone was going to get a puppy, and I saw this giant paw, like St. Bernard, big dog, and so that was kind of fun that day. And just a few more. Something as simple as when this came out, this was actually a toaster, and my toaster just went on the fritz. And so it was really funny that it showed up in, by chance, I did a smoke card reading that day, or they were warning me, and I caught it. Um, Something as simple as this you can find out, or something as dramatic as this. And again, I've shared this one other time. This is very personal. This is very sadness came through, a sad face, and the letter D here actually ended up that it was my sister, whose name is Donna, had passed away, and I hadn't gotten the news yet. So, so you can get something that serious or something just kind of trivial. Just a couple more. Here's a very special one, and there's no lines or anything on it. I actually keep it sealed in plastic. I did this smoke card reading as appreciation to the special lady I was talking about, and I did an online course with her, and she's just so fantastic. And I put no marks on there, but she's so powerful and operating, I think, past the fifth dimensional self, that this is her right here. This is her presence, and I can just see it more clearly than you would be able to. All the details, I can see her face and everything, and her whole essence. And her hand is reaching out. And even though this looks a little bit scary here, this is the divine. This is source energy right there. Just, oh, I got goosebumps right now, because the energy that comes off of this is incredible. Wonderful lady. And I will share one more. And you're probably wondering what this was here for. It was back on July 24th, and we were going to take a little trip, and we were going to Las Vegas just to get away, little trip. And on this particular day, I was told to do a smoke card reading. And it's just so funny because, it's like, what is this? But I kind of knew right away. And just for all of you, it's actually a fleur-de-lis, a French fleur-de-lis. So, and I told you the sketching is erratic, but I knew it was a fleur-de-lis. And so I was trying to decide on that particular day which hotel we were going to stay at. So that was a sign. We ended up getting a good deal to stay at Paris in Las Vegas. And the interesting thing was, what came through is, if you see this face, just kind of almost smug, smiling, and then he had the number 5 on each side here. That was like the first thing that I saw on the card besides the fleur-de-lis. And this represents the roulette ball being thrown. And this was actually, I could see people clapping, and there was celebration and everything. So yeah, you guessed it. We definitely played roulette when we were in Las Vegas at the Paris Hotel. And I kid you not, bet on number 5. And the first time, nothing happened. The second time, the dealer said, oh, put one more on, because I had a couple chips on there, and put one more on. And I did, because I felt like my guide was talking directly to me. It was such a unusual experience. That's why I want to share it. What these smoke cards reveal is phenomenal. And so he said, one more. And by this time, the ball was spinning. So I put one more chip on there, and that was a $200 win. So everybody was clapping, and we had some lovely people from the UK that were at the table with us. And I kept saying, oh yeah, put one in. And so they got in on a little bit of the action there, and we all had a great time, and we were clapping and everything, and they were just astonished. And of course, I was really the only one that knew. Wow, this was my guides telling me this. So the smoke card readings, is a little bit of fortune telling, messages and visions that come through. So there's my explanation, and hope you understand what smoke card readings are about. And join me every Wednesday, that at the end of the Wednesday video, I do a smoke card reading, and it usually kind of ties in with the tarot card reading of that day. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for stopping by and learning about the smoke card readings. And I wish all of you that stopped by love, light, and abundance. And I can't say until tomorrow on this one, but please join me for my other videos if you haven't, and subscribe and join our family each and every day. Thanks so much for stopping by.